again. Again. Once again.
Missing someone. Love with all your heart. Missing someone. Love with heart. How much you miss it. And you miss it. And you miss it. And you miss it. And you did it right from the start. And you did it right from the start. Missing someone is as normal. Missing someone and missing someone is as normal. Missing someone. Love with all your heart. Missing someone. Love with heart. Missing someone. I am sad and so low. I am sad and so low. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. There goes a sight from my soul. I think a fall angel just walked by. 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 There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my there goes a sight. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. Alright then, ding dong. If I could take you up in boom boom boom, boom boom, tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Life could be a dream. Then ding dong, plans would come true. Then ding dong, my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again. Shaboom, and hoping we meet again. Alright then, ding dong, a lang, a lang, a lang. Boom, ba-do, 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 ba-do. Then ding dong, a lang, a lang, a lang. Boom, ba-do, 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 ba-do. Alright then, ding dong. If I could take you up in boom, 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 tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again. Shaboom, and hoping we'll meet again. Oh, life could be a dream. Then ding dong, plans would come true. Then ding dong, my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Now every time I look at you, something is on my mind. If you do what I want you to, baby, we'd be so fine. Oh, life then ding dong. If I could take you up in boom boom boom, boom boom, tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Life could be a dream. Then ding dong, plans would come true. Then ding dong, my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again. Shaboom, and hoping we'll meet again. Oh, life could be a dream. Then ding dong, plans would come true. Then ding dong, my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart.
on, but right now here's the kind I prefer. Okay.
Faithful and brave.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Summer Split 2019 debut of the Upsurge Premier League. My name is Mark Rafa Alexander Arambide. Joining me on the cast for this wonderful debut is going to be Robert Sordo Santiago. Mr. Sordo, it's been a long time coming. We haven't casted together since last year, but our power has finally come together for this amazing clash between ANEW Esports and La Magnifique Mirage Esports.
Oh, of course, the original Latino duo back at it again to start off the UPL Summer Split. We have two of, the top teams in the Mountain Division currently right now, even though everyone's sitting at 0-0. When we did the draw show, they were considered, some of the top teams that were drafted into the Mountain Division. So it has to be just a super exciting matchup that we're about to see.
And we have such high-profile players coming into this matchup. It will be a best of three. Just looking across the roster board for the side of ANEW Esports, You Look So Charming, Demetrio, a.k.a. Novi, Julian, Andy Bendy, and Kenji across the board.
Yeah, no, and for the side of Mirage Esports, we have Speedo, Hyper, High-Key Savage, Tomo, and Pocus. All of these players are just, kind of well known within the challenger scene, especially people like High-Key Savage, Pocus. They've been multi-year challenger players, really dominant in their roles, peaking as high as, 800 LP for some of them. So, we do expect, really high-level gameplay coming out from these players today.
Right. And to give you just an overall, for anyone who is tuning into Upsurge Premier League for the first time, we're just going to give you a quick rundown of what the league's specifics are. We have a Master Plus average team solo queue rating across of every team that is in here. I believe a total of 16 teams total, 4 divisions, as Sordo beautifully mentioned before. This is the Mountain Division. So among Mirage Esports and ANEW Esports, there are 2 other teams in this division alone. The top 2 of each division at the end of the regular split season will advance on to the playoffs. There's a $3,000 prize pool for the final emerging winner of the UPL, along with 5 UPL champ jackets and 5 Kono keyboards, one of our lovely sponsors. So an amazing prize pool for an amazing league tournament here.
Yeah, no, and hopefully, these teams coming out of the Mountain Division will be some of the ones contending against, those top tier teams. We know we already have Supernova all the way in the Ocean Division, and we have Radiance over in the Infernal Division, 2 well-known teams throughout, the amateur league. So I'm hoping to see if teams like ANEW Esports and Mirage Esports can go and, take over the throne that has been held there by Radiance and Supernova for such a long time.
Yeah, for sure. ANEW Esports, formerly known as ASIO, has always been up in that kind of top 4, top 3 contenders pool against the likes of Radiance and Supernova. And just to give a little bit of history on that as well, Radiance has always seemed to be in the first top dog for such a long time until recently Supernova dethroned them. And I believe it was the, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the tournament name, but they took them down. So now Supernova are looking pretty like the kings of amateur scene at the moment. But, going back to ANEW Esports and Mirage Esports, these players have got a lot to prove coming into the season. It is the debut, though, so first series doesn't mean everything, but if you can get that first series win, it's a strong way to start off.
Yeah, no, you always want to start off strong. And there's 6 weeks of play, so you're gonna play every team twice. So you really do want to start out on a strong foot and obviously get that first win. It'll put you, forward into the division, and it'll kind of establish you as, that dominant team. And especially since this is, considered the 1 versus 2, pre-games, this is where you want to be. You want to be at the top of Mountain Division. That will give you an advantage that we do kind of expect, Radiant, Supernova, all those S-tier teams to be the number 1 coming out of their division. So if you can dodge them in that first round of playoffs, that's going to be massive for you, and it's going to be the key for you getting deep into the playoff.
Absolutely. And before we get into the draft phase, we're just waiting on all the players to be able to sync up and make sure all of their Discord chats are working so that the comms are pristine, crystal clear, and that everyone is on the same page. But the things that we can go over, Sordo, is some of these featured matchups. Before the game started, we were looking at the mid lane between Julian and High Key Savage. Both of these players have different advantages, right? Julian has much more years into the amateur scene, whereas High Key Savage has a much higher explosive potential given if he is put ahead in his lane.
Yeah, no, I mean, both mid laners do enjoy resources, but I mean, for High Key Savage, if you give him the resources, he can kind of just take over the game. We've seen this, quite a few times. And I mean, he is, a high tier challenger player for a reason. If you put him ahead, and especially with champions that he plays like the LeBlanc, Jace, Rise, if you get him ahead on those champions, it is disgusting to deal with any of them. And especially for Andy Bendy, you're not going to really be able to play the game if he's on LeBlanc and he's sitting there, 10-0. You're just going to get clapped and sent to the Shadow Realm. Bye-bye.
Just the good old Malik treatment. Just getting sent to the Shadow Realm. Goodbye. You're pretty much done as a character for the rest of the game or the season. But in this case, if High Key Savage is able to get off to that start, he can definitely explode the game on his own. However, we have seen before, High Key Savage also has a tendency, if he falls behind, then he struggles to find his footing back into the game. So maybe one strategy for a new esports is looking to punish High Key Savage unless he has been able to clean up those difficulties he does have when he is behind. But the first pick after going through the bans is going to be the Akali locked in. That could be either for Julian or You Look So Charming in the top lane.
Yeah, no, Akali has been such a strong flex pick over the past year since her rework. And I mean, we're finally starting to see a little bit of nerfs coming towards her, but it's nothing massive enough to kick her out of the meta. She still has lots of good matchups in the top lane, lots of good matchups in the mid lane. Ooh. So it's a really good flex pick to come out first. Silas Taric gonna follow up next. I mean, 2 very interesting picks. Silas, again, yet another champion that can be flexed into the mid lane or top lane. And we have started to see, the downfall of Sonataric a little bit, but it's still very prominent, and it's still very powerful.
Right. And it's not powerful enough where you warrant the other team stealing the Sona away. That combination of champions needs to be together. It's not like Xayah Rakan in past seasons where you could take one or the other and still be as strong. But I don't think we're seeing a Master Yi being locked in. I think High Key Savage is just having fun with the champion select and hovering. More than likely, we should see the Sona being locked in here. The Silas as well, as you mentioned, a very strong solo lane champion that can be flexed between Speedo or Savage. But on the other side, I do like the fact that ANEW Esports have themselves a very strong laning dominant duo in the Thresh Callista.
Yeah, no, you need kind of a dominating support to deal with the Sonataric. If you're able to hook the Sona early, just CC her down. Yes, they do have a lot of heals. It is very disgusting to deal with Sonataric heals because they'll go from 10% HP up to about 75%, just spamming their abilities out. So, I mean, as long as you build an Executioner's Calling or you have a Morello, something like that, you can kind of deal with the healing, just cut it in half with the Grievous Wounds. But Callista does do fairly well into it. She's able to dodge around, with her passive. So it's not the worst thing. But we get into the second part of the bans. Nidalee taken off the table for Novi. And I mean, we were seeing the banter earlier. They were just spamming about his Nidalee. So that's not going to be played this game.
Yeah, and taking him off his what would probably be his most comfortable champion, but it doesn't mean that Novi would not be able to play any other champion to a similar performance level. There are still carry champions like the Kazakhs, like the I think when we were looking at his solo queue records, there was also a Lee Sin in there, if I'm not mistaken. But either of those picks would it would definitely work out for himself. There's still picks like the Jarvan, though, up on the table for either Hyper or Novi if they want to go for more of the utility-based, as Jarvan does have that flexibility of either going that full tank build in the Cinder Hulk path or just going the... And just as I say that, Novi or ANEW Esports is like, no, you guys can't have the Jarvan pick either.
I know Jace could be locked in, though, just instantly locked in here, and that's probably going to go to High Key Savage. He has, the most game played on it, but it can still go up towards Speedo. So again, it's a really good flex pick with the Sylas. Zoe being hovered, though, that's a really good matchup either way into Sylas or Jace. But Yasuo, do it to me. There it is. All right.
Go. Julian busting out the signature Yasuo. He's going to take on High Key Savage in this opener of the series, saying, you know what? I'm going to show you why I'm the better mid laner. And he's going to have a lot to prove on a champion like Yasuo.
I mean, we know how demanding Yasuo is. It's his highest played champion in solo duo at the moment. And just a really dominant laner if he gets ahead. With the Hecarim as well to get those early ganks off. And I was going to say, with a team comp like this, with the Kalista ult, you want other things to help out with the engage. Hecarim, the perfect jungler to do that. But on the other side, Hyper is just going to pick up the Olaf here as a counter. And I really do like that pick. He's fallen out of the meta a little bit, but come back as of late. So I really want to see if he's going to go that Conqueror, or is he going to go Predator and try to get constant ganks off over and over and over again?
Yeah, I would feel that the Keystone indication would be notified by whether he takes the Flash or the Ghost Summoner spell. Because usually when you do take the Predator, you already have the movement speed. It's basically like taking Ghost as a Keystone, and then the Flash allows you to get that extra bit of distance either over a wall or some type of obstacle. But if you go Conquer, then you need the mobility to be able to get into the thick of the fight super quick. So, but if he is sticking with the Flash, more than likely we are going to see the Predator Olaf trying to get those early ganks off.
Yeah, no, and it's going to be the Sylas versus Yasuo matchup, which, I mean, it's kind of, wishy-washy in a sense that Sylas, if he's allowed to get ahead versus the Yasuo, can do quite a bit of damage towards him. So, I mean, it's definitely something to look out for. Then, I mean, if the Yasuo can, block out the chains and not get knocked up by it, and, Sylas goes and steals the ultimate, he can win that fight fairly easily. But in lane, Sylas should be the one, setting the tempo, and Julian is going to need some sort of help, most likely from Novi here, to be able to survive the lane and, get to that power spike, get to those 2 items, 100% crit, and just be able to smash through the rest of Mirage Esports.
Absolutely, and the benefit for Novi on a champion like Hecarim is that with the slight nerfs to his abilities, he can no longer steamroll the game as early as level 3. He still wants to be able to scale up and farm some items, but he can still snowball and carry throughout the game once he gets that item power spike. But as we are loading in, folks, the spectator delay is counting down. We are trying to click through our screens, and I noticed that my screen wasn't clicking right well, and I think I have to update my peripherals at some time. And you know what? We have a wonderful sponsor who is just the right place to be able to deliver all those peripherals. Kono, having amazing products. If you want to take your gaming up to the next level, definitely check out KONO, Kono Store. Wonderful sponsor. Thank you again for being such an amazing provider for Upsurge Esports. Definitely check them out, guys. We are live on Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. ANEW Esports and Mirage Esports are going to start off the series now. We're seeing a 5-man defensive spread formation, very typical for all these esports organizations at the highest level. No level 1 invades so far, but Mr. Sordo, one thing I do want to point out is that because Callista and Silas are in the game, Heike Savage is going to have to select a target to bind himself to if he ever gets the Fate's Call.
Yeah, no, and he binded over to the Sona, interesting enough.
Wait, what?
Yeah, which I think that's really big brain, low key though. Because think about it. You throw the Sona in there with the Taric ultimate, right? You hit the crescendo.
Oh, yeah.
And you just mess everyone up. Oh my god. So we see a bit of a push in here, so they're going to get the ward onto the blue buff. Now that the Scuttle spawn isn't at, 2 minutes, it's now at 3:15. It's more important to get that ward onto the buff that now you get the information of where the jungler is going, as we see a bit of an invade here coming out from Andy. Just trying to push in Novi. They're trying to get the steal here, though.
And I think they will definitely get it because Hyper has already committed to the top side of the map on his red buff with a leash from Speedo. This is going to allow Demetrio, a.k.a. Nov. I do apologize earlier about the mispronunciation. That is what they told me in chat, Novi. But I believe Nov is the correct pronunciation. Is going to start off with Hyper's blue buff. But Hyper will be able to move over onto the other side of the map. And we just get the good old classic vertical jungling here, Soto.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's okay to vertical jungle as long as you have the information that you need. As we see Julian trying to take a bit of a trade here with Heike Savage, getting a bit of the better end, except missing the last few, which kind of dissuades the trade.
But we do have the note that Julian does have perfect CS at the moment, whereas Heike Savage has missed 5 CS on the first 2 waves. So even though Julian didn't get all the harassment, he's got all the guaranteed gold that he could potentially get so far.
And I mean, he's taking really good trades here. But Olaf and Hecarim are in pretty decent positions. More the Olaf is in a pretty good position to gank here. See the fly.
Yeah, Dazzle's going to come out, delay the all-in from completely destroying Tomo there. But they're still level 1 for both Pocus and Tomo, so you're going to have to be careful about stepping up against this aggressive Callista Thresh lane.
Yeah, I mean, and this is why they take, Hail of Blades on Callista. You want those 3 quick auto attacks to get in a bunch of damage early. As we see Tomo just getting poked out and destroyed here. Heike Savage going a bit aggressive.
Wait, they're actually diving under the turret. The flash forward from Andy Bandy and Sir Kenji is going to force the flash out of Tomo.
Heal.
Looking for the Q, and there he gets it! First blood for Andy Bendy.
Wow, just not a care in the world, just going in. It's going to be the teleport here from Sona. They're going to continue this fight?
Yeah, Andy Bendy's got to be a little careful, though. Has taken a lot of damage. Meanwhile, mid lane, Novi has come in with the flash gank onto Heike Savage. Is going to force his flash out. But here is Hyper for the counter gank, but it's not going to help as Julian already secures the kill with the Ignite and the flash. And Hyper, can he just get one more on the Julian? But he doesn't. Julian goes in the face and takes the double kill for himself.
Again, we were talking about resources towards the mid lane, and that's just the immediate flash coming out from Nov, going straight onto the Silas, and that's just, second kill and third kill going over to Julian, and now he's going to take over the game from here. Silas is supposed to have a good matchup versus the Yasuo, and that just gets thrown out the window. Berserker Greaves already built, plus an extra dagger. It's going to be really hard for Heike Savage to do anything in the lane now.
And you know how completely imperative it is for Yasuo to be able to get attack speed this early on, as it reduces his cooldown in the Steel Tempest, which just means he's just going to be puncturing his sword through Silas's heart more times in the lane.
Yeah, no, and I mean, we just look at what's been going on all over the map, and we touched on it in Champ Select. You want that aggressive support to deal with the Sona Taric. They go straight onto the Sona, and Andy Bendy, knowing his damage on the Callista, just goes ham and basically solo kills Tomo, forcing everything out of him. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, he dove all the way past the first turret, going almost under the second tier turret as well. And Tomo was still level 1. I mean, how can you fight back against that aggression as Kenji is going to set his AD carry partner up with another flight? The Ignite comes down. They run a little quite early on that, but they still get some more autos in. It's going to force QC to pop the heal, and he might have to recall unless he decides he can stay later.
Yeah, I mean, good heal coming out there. He had to get that movement speed up just to be able to dodge some autos coming out from Andy Bendy. I mean, this lane is just really dominant, and Sonataric cannot walk up. The goal of that lane is just to poke down your enemy, and right now they just can't do it. You have to be careful. Look So Charming is about to hit 6 here.
Oh, You Look So Charming now has the perfect execution. Just needs one more ultimate cast to be able to get in the damage, but War Machine Speed has already flashed away under his turret to safety. Not going to be the all-in quite
Good
yet, but
dodge.
Viper is making the gank onto the bot side of the map, but here comes Demetrio in the wings, and with the flay and the hook back, that's going to be an easy onslaught of shadows right into the heart of Viper. It's going to give another kill over to Andy Bendy. It's going to put him 2-0 in this lane.
Yo, Kenji with the dodge of the Tariki. Just, you know what? He passed math, he passed geometry, he knew where the angle was, just barely avoided everything, and just set up for the easy hook onto Hyper. He doesn't have his ultimate yet, so he can't become unstoppable, by the way, and that's going to be the Ocean Dragon going over to ANEW Esports.
Yeah, you know that GIF where the woman is doing all the calculations on her head and on the
Yep.
chalkboard? That was basically Kenji in that moment right there. He was running all the Pythagorean theorem, calculus, the integral of how far he needed to step away, and within microseconds is able to make that outplay happen. And with the Ocean Dragon being picked up here by ANEW Esports, that's going to give these dominant laners an even stronger sustain advantage as well.
Yeah, no, already a 3k gold lead established for ANEW Esports. Basically, every lane except for top is kind of getting destroyed here, and that's going to be yet another blue steal going over to Nove. Like, he is dominating this Olaf matchup, but what is he going to do? The Olaf's already 0-2, and Hecarim, you know, has been considered that S-tier jungler for quite a bit now. As we see Olaf coming towards the bot side, gonna just be clearing out some wards. But Andy Bendy with the dodges under tower of
Yeah,
wards. Like, man, they really know their calculus. They are just precise with those dodges. Holy crap.
I mean, it's just crazy to watch Andy Bendy practically 1v2 Tark and Sona under turret, knowing that one wrong misstep could get hit by the Dazzle. He'll be taking damage from the turret because he is under its range, but he has no fear. He has so much confidence in being able to play without Kenji's help, and it allows him to be able to secure the blue buff for Demetrio. But meanwhile, on the top side of the map, You Look So Charming, taking a lot of damage, is going to have to pop the perfect execution just to disengage the trade. That's going to give Speedo a little bit more of an advantage in this lane.
Yeah, I mean, there's already a huge CS advantage towards Speedo, and that's only going to grow more, but I mean, once perfect execution comes up again, actually, never mind. That's going to be the flash. Hello.
Yeah. Demetrio with the flash into the onslaught of shadows, getting enough damage onto Speedo. It's going to take him down. No flash from before, as he was already burned by You Look So Charming. It's an easy pickup for ANEW Esports.
I mean, right now, Demetrio just popping off, you know, already 80% kill participation in this early game. Getting into now every single lane, putting everyone ahead. And this is what you want from a tempo jungler. You want him to be getting everyone else ahead. Words being cleared by everyone. Julian in a kind of a precarious situation. That's just going to be the lantern, getting him out of there.
Woo!
Job.
Taking the dark passage to safety for Julian. Kenji is going to be able to help out his mid laner, get out of that sticky situation in the river as he safely walks back to mid lane to pick up this farm. And now, the next dragon isn't up for, I think the next 3 minutes here, sorto. But when you're on the side of Mirage Esports, you're 5 kills down. You're almost 5,000 or 4,000 gold down as well. What is your next step to try and come back into this game?
I mean, your spike is in that mid, so you need to be, you know, waiting for that spike. If not, you're basically doomed. But Hecarim's on his way down. Andy Bendy 1v2 here.
Oh my gosh, and he flashes over the Dazzle as well, forcing Tomo to be able to flash as well. Actually, it wasn't even a flash from Any Benny. He's just got the martial poise, the hops, the skips, the jumps. Demetrio taking the damage, allowing his 80 carry to secure that double kill.
Yeah, already 4-0 Callista, and this is what you want to see. Callista getting ahead. The champion takes a little bit of time to ramp up because you do need that attack speed. Already has the Berserker Greaves. Oh god. Flay does miss, so does Hook. Great job by Heike Savage avoiding everything. That would have probably resulted in a kill there going over to ANEW Esports.
Yeah, with the Ignite ticking down, that surely could have been a kill opportunity there, but Heike Savage, instead of burning the flash, just uses the upscon to be able to get out of harm's way. He's going to be able to hold on a little bit longer in this lane, but he will have to recall.
Yeah, no, and then we see bot lane. Callista just letting CS die. She knows that she has people there. Great job denying more CS and EXP over to Tomo. And that's most likely going to be first tower going down bot. Okay.
Oh, baby, here comes the horses. He got horses in the back, and they're going to ride till they can no more. The Onslaught of Shadows forcing the flash out of QC, and just the amount of pressure that is coming from this bot lane jungle trio right here. They've dove past the first tier turret, forcing the Sonateric away from safety.
Yeah, I mean, this is how you beat Sonateric. You just go very aggressive early. I mean, it forces them out of lane, and now you just have this fed ADC who is just massively ahead, sitting total at around 5,700 gold versus the Sona. She only has 2,500 gold at this point. Oh, Kenji!
Oh, wait, but Heike Savage is putting on the big brain plays, is able to dodge out the Flash Flame from Kenji, as well as the Steel Tempest from Julian. Heike Savage, even though he is down in this lane, does his best to be able to dodge danger.
Yeah, no, good attempt there coming out for Sir Kenji, trying to make the big brain plays in that mid lane, trying to get Julian ahead. That, like we were saying, he does like his resources towards that mid lane. But, I mean, it's already looking pretty bad for the side of Mirage Esports. But the big bright side is that Savage has been eating a lot of the pressure coming up from ANEW Esports. If only it wasn't for the fact that Demetrio is still getting successful ganks off in every other lane.
Absolutely. I mean, Demetrio's still able to successfully put so much pressure on the map, and Hyper just has not been able to amount to anything. Even the death sentence from Kenji forces him to use the Ragnarok just to get out of danger, as he was getting collapsed upon by You Look So Charming as well.
Yeah, I mean, these rotations coming out from ANEW Esports are massive right now. The Akali roaming up to push Hyper out, and if it wasn't for his Ragnarok there, he would have 100% been dead. 4 people there, there's just no surviving that. But Ragnarok able to get him out. But now, you know, Hyper just trying to do something in this top lane. Hook on Tatarek, though.
Oh, it's going to land the flay, but there is the crescendo. But the Fate's Call, quick response from Andy Benny, will save Kenji from certain death. Great response from the side of Mirage Esports, and they're going to be able to plant down this Rift Herald, trying to look for some damage on this top turret.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it can get off before plates fall, and it will, so that will be a half decent amount of gold. But, oh, Demetrio's here.
And there's no Ragnarok this time around. There comes the devastating charge. Is going to push QC, aka Pocus, right back into the thick of the fray. And without support, he's not going to be able to get out of here. Here's Julian as well. He was able to sneak around the other side of the map along with You Look So Charming. They take down Tomo as well, and Hyper is now on the run. He still has the
Ragnarok.
But Demetrio also has the flash as well. There's the devastating charge into the last whisper. Julian's going to take it down.
Yeah, no, the only way that he lives that is flashing the E coming out from the Agrim. But I mean, there's just nothing you can do there. There's already 4 people mid, and this is going to be the forced tower in the mid lane. Good dodge on the death sentence, but it doesn't really mean much of anything. There's already 3 people in the mid lane, uses the Kingslayer, trying to do something here. It's not going to really result in anything.
Yeah, Ignite was forced out of Kenji as well, trying to look for a potential play on the Savage there, but it just prevented him from being able to defend the mid-tier 1 turret from going down. Julian does secure it for his team.
Yeah, no, and already a 9.5k gold lead in favor of ANEW Esports really showing their domination here. And I mean, it's all off of the back of Demetrio. 8 out of 10 kill participation here. I mean, what more can you really ask for from a Hecarim this early in the game?
And we were talking about how Olaf does have the opportunity to be able to snowball against the Hecarim in the first few levels before he hits that Onslaught of Shadows power spike and the items in the Trinity Force and the Cinderhulk. But based on the vertical jungling start from both of these junglers, Hyper was just not able to find the same amount of success that Demetrio did on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, no, Demetrio really just getting everyone ahead in that early game was really massive for, them getting ahead here. Now every single person is ahead, except again for the Akali, but she's still even at the end of the day. Gold only about 50 apart, 70 apart, give or take. So, I mean, not the worst thing, to be in. And there's, again, a 9.5k gold lead 16 minutes in for ANEW Esports.
And right now, you just look at the lane assignments right now. 1-3-1. Julian in the top lane, the bot lane, and the jungler in the mid lane. And, of course, he looks so charming on the bot side of the map. They can continue choking out the rest of Mirage Esports as, as you said before, 10k gold lead for themselves. The Fate's Call comes out. The Death Sentence comes out, forcing the flash away from Tomo. The pressure is almost becoming undealable with for the side of Mirage Esports as the rest of ANEW looking to take down the second tier turret.
Yeah, no, the entire jungle is already gone, so that just puts Hyper even further behind. And there's just nothing he can really do. Now 2 levels behind Demetrio. Everyone's really behind in levels except, again, for the Akali Jace. I mean, there's not much that Mirage can do other than hope and pray that ANEW Esports just makes a couple mistakes. But the way that they're playing right now, it looks damn near impossible for them to even do anything with now a 10k gold lead in favor of ANEW Esports.
And at this point, and we were talking about before that the way that Mirage Esports could get back into the game was through the mid game. But I think it's well past beyond that when you're almost 11,000 gold down against your opponents.
Yeah, no, and I mean, we're looking at just the items coming out. Sona finally finishing the quest right now on her Frostfang. But I mean, like, there's just so many things that went wrong in that early game. We again take a look at that gold differential, and you just see Andy Bendy sitting at almost, 8,600, while Sona is barely reaching 44. It's disgusting right now. Every single lane is ahead again, except for the Akali lane, which again is to be, understood because Akali doesn't have the best matchup into Jace. But either way, she's still holding her own at the end of the day. The global gold that has been obtained has, allowed her to stay in this game even though she's down, 24 CS.
Absolutely, and that's what you want from your other teammates and laners. Even if they can't necessarily win their individual matchup, as long as they don't give up kills and they don't give up too much pressure, then
Julian.
the rest of your team can be able to assist with that. But as you said, Julian is going to have to flash away. The Steel Tempest was looking for the knockup. The Ragnarok is going to cancel that out, and so much damage coming out from both Hyper and Savage will be able to take him down. Meanwhile, we just saw Demetrio completely obliterate Tomo under turret. The rest of ANEW Esports are trying to pressure Mirage Esports on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw. Oh, that's a good hook coming out for Kenji. But again, I'm gonna have to throw a report over to Julian. Does not get the perfect game starting out the season now for ANEW Esports, but Baron is spawning in 30 seconds here. Everyone getting the recalls off. Ping's going towards the Baron. Are we just gonna see a 20-minute Baron?
Potentially could. I mean, when you look at Andy Bendy's build, he's already got the Blade of the Rune King and the Runon's Hurricane. I mean, we all know the power of objective control from Kalista, right? So, and as long as you look so charming on split push duty, being able to pull the rest of the members from Mirage Esports on the other side of the map, you definitely can.
Yeah, I mean, even though Kalista did get a bit of a nerf with her Ren towards no, epic monsters or large monsters.
Hmm.
I mean, it's still good to have that secure. And yeah, I mean, 20 minutes in, they're going to put a word on it, but that thing's going to melt. Mountain Dragon plus Callista is going to result in a 20-minute Baron going over to ANEW Esports. Oh my goodness. This is just a great way to start off the season if you're ANEW Esports, completely and utterly dominating your first match.
Yeah, hashtag new year, new brand name, new me for the side of ANEW Esports, looking to make a strong start for the season, as you mentioned before. And Speedo was going for an all-in onto You Look So Charming, but Kenji is here with the flank, is going to pull some members in. Meanwhile, on the other side, on the mid lane, Demetrio and Andy Benny trying to fight off some members, but the Targ ultimate has come out. The Cosmic Radiance will give them some damage and vulnerability, but it's not going to be enough as the hook lands onto QC. He's going to pull him in. Kenji's going to be able to take him down. There's skirmishing happening all over the damn jungle. Demetrio flashing over the wall, taking down Speedo. Now in a 2v1 onto Savage, along with Kenji. The hook lands.
Wow.
It's going to take him down. And the rest of ANEW Esports all still alive against only the remaining member in Tomo. This should be game.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? It's just complete and utter domination coming out from ANEW Esports. From minute one, they were already just forcing all over the map. Demetrio putting in the work this game. His onslaught of shadows were disgusting, and that's going to be 21-40 into the first game. The Nexus is going to fall, and ANEW Esports putting their stamp onto the Mountain Division, taking game one of this best-of-3 series.
We're definitely going to have to look for some changes in not only just the draft, but also the execution in the early game from Mirage Esports going into game two, because on paper, you know, some of their draft elements, you know, the Olaf and the Jace, definitely a strong way to start on that top side of the map, but just falling short a little bit of execution compared to the way that Demetrio started with Andy Bendy and Kenji on the bottom side of the map here, Sordo.
I mean, for the side of Mirage Esports, they tried to get those counter picks with the Olaf, with the Jace. The Jace went fine into that top lane, putting You Look So Charming, 30 CS down. But, you have another tempo jungler in Hyper on the Olaf. When he's not able to put his team ahead, you kind of just screw yourself for the rest of the game. And in turn, it just loses you the game. One tempo jungler versus another. It's the tempo jungler that gets everyone ahead is most likely the one that's going to win. And we definitely saw that in game number one.
Absolutely. And as we are getting ready for game two, ladies and gentlemen, we will be taking a short intermission break as we get ready for the rest of the players for draft. But do not tune away, folks. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I told you it would be a short intermission. We just wanted to get everyone lined up for the draft phase of this second game. Now, Sordo, to reiterate our thoughts from the first game going into this draft phase, what exactly are we looking for in terms of changes from Mirage Esports?
I mean, the Sona Taric just didn't work out. They got completely destroyed by the Thresh, which is going to be one of their bans, think. So maybe they might go back towards that Sona Taric. I'd rather them not. That, you know, you still have very aggressive supports left up. So, I mean, I would try to stray away from it. We have seen today throughout the CLOL that the Sona Taric has been just getting dumpstered game after game. So, and I mean, last game really was no different. The Kalista Thresh just putting Tomo and QC so far behind that they just couldn't even play the video game. And I mean, Taric is going to be banned out. So we're not going to see any Sona Taric coming out from Mirage. As we see their first pick is just going to be the Rek'Sai going over to Hyper, one of his. So hopefully now. Yeah, no, hopefully now with this tempo jungler, yet again, another tempo jungler. But hopefully now Hyper can have a better match versus what he did with that Olaf that it was kind of subpar that game, to say the least.
The other thing I'm curious about now for the rest of the draft from Mirage Esports is when you have a strong jungler like Rek'Sai who wants to skirmish, who wants to gank, who wants to invade, you need strong laners to be able to play around that win condition as well. It looks like you look so charming because the Akali is still up on the table, and he did a fairly decent job of holding his own. He's going to lock it down once again, although that could always go to Julian in the mid lane. We are not sure yet until everything is locked in, but the Galio has been locked in. More than likely going to go to that support role for Kenji.
See, I like Galio again. Very aggressive support. And as someone that's played, you know, a bunch of games of Galio in solo queue, I just love that champion. You go look at his win rate in solo queue, it's like, oh, you know, it's so low. That champion is so damn good. And especially when you ban out Thresh, he just does really well into most melee matchups that are in that bot lane presently. And with something like the Akali, he can use his ultimate onto her and just disrupt the entire backline.
Yeah, the massive AoE taunt that you can get, or the hero's entrance, the amount of crowd control that can come out from this composition is already devastating. And it's just off one damn champion, Sordo. So being able to have that combination ready to go. Unfortunately for them, the Jarvan is not on the table for them to be able to pick up here for their jungle in Demetrio. But meanwhile, Mirage Esports have locked in the Ryze and the Braum. Ryze is another flex pick that could either go to Speedo or High Key Savage in the mid lane. We'll have to wait and see what the other picks are, but the Sejuani is going to be locked in for Demetrio. So not a tempo jungler, as you say, Sordo, but this is definitely a tank jungler with strong engagement tools.
Yeah, no, and I mean, the matchup versus the Rek'Sai isn't the worst thing in the world. Yes, Sejuani does lose early into the Rek'Sai, but as the game progresses, she just becomes way too tanky, and there's not much that can be done. We get into the second part of the ban phase. Sivir, Kalista taken off the table. They really do not want to deal with Sir Genji and Andy Bendy on the champions that they were last game. 2 respect bans already going over to them.
Sivir also being taken off the table as well is definitely one of the few carries that most marksmen will be able to pick up and be useful at all stages with ease due to her massive and strong wave clear and the boomerang blade, and as well as the utility you get from Beyond the Hunt.
Yeah, no, and that's going to be the Draven taken off. So 4 ADC bans in the second half of the ban phase. So I do kind of expect an ADC to just be picked up here, and that's going to be the Vayne picked up and locked in for Andy Bendy. And I mean, it's interesting to see her still, even after all the Rage Blade nerfs, she's still a very strong champion. And okay.
Wow. So this is on hit Nico in the bot lane then,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Holy moly.
very interesting here for the side of Mirage Esports. You
Yeah,
do have quite a bit of AP coming out with the Rise, Nico, and Silas. Yes, it's going to be an on-hit Nico, but she still does quite a bit of magic damage as we see the Irelia being locked in for You Look So Charming. And I mean, the matchup in the top lane is pretty okay for her. That's going to be the Silas coming out to try to deal with it. Silas does have a bit of an advantage in this lane, trying to fight her early. So as long as Irelia can farm up towards that Trinity Force, once she hits that, she should just be able to, you know, steamroll over the Silas.
Yeah, and then I have personally never seen a Silas Aurelia matchup before, so I don't know when the Silas does grab the Vanguard's edge. Does his Q like reset, or his E reset, or does he just get the slow whenever the Aurelia does cross that the Vanguard's edge mark?
I believe it's just the slow that comes out, so it's not the most optimal ultimate to get. Literally anyone else's ultimate for the side of ANEW Esports looks a million times better with that Glacial Prison, heroic entrance, perfect execution, and oh my god, Vayne ultimate on Silas is probably one of the most disgusting things that you will see. Goes invisible on the Q, does the damage. Oh my god. For Speedo, he's gonna have a fun time once team fighting phase starts. But again, they do have to get to that team fighting phase if you are Mirage Esports. If they have an early game like they did the last game, there is almost no hope for them. Yes, you do have High Key Savage on the rise, and he does scale extremely well. But you look at the side of ANEW Esports, Sejuani, Akali, Vayne, all of those champions scream late game. So, I mean, for the side of Mirage, they really need to focus on that mid game if they do intend to win this one.
Yeah, it's all going to be off the back and strength of Hyper. Now that he is, this time, the only jungle with early aggressive power, the ability to be able to gank lanes super early on, being able to get out a bunch of damage, especially if he's running the Conquer Keystone or even the Hail of Blades for that quick amount of burst. But before we get into this next game, we do want to give a shout out to one of our other sponsors in Scuttle Scrims. And it's just an awesome, fast, and reliable way for your team to be able to find scrim partners that are like-minded and of equal skill so that you get the best experience and use of your practice time. Definitely recommend, and huge shout out to Scuttle Scrims. But we will be breaking for a quick intermission as we get ready for Summoner's Rift Game 2. Don't tune away. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the rift for Game 2 of the series between Mirage Esports and ANEW Esports. Also, hashtag cat if you want ANEW Esports to come out on top, or hashtag dog in the chat for the War Machine Gang, aka Mirage Esports, Le Magnifique French Esport org, looking to make a reverse sweep in this best of 3. They are down 1 game at the moment, but there is always chance for miracles here, Sordo.
Yeah, no, I mean, hopefully during the short intermission, they were able to reset the mental and just go into this game fresh and clean. They do have to win 2 in a row, but it is not unheard of. Look at TSM, they won 3 in a row to get into finals, so anything is possible. We'll have to see as we get a bit of an invade push here, trying to get some vision established. Andy Bendy and Sir Kenji able to get vision towards that Raptor camp, so we will be able, oh my goodness, just the roots already. Julian taking a bit of damage, able to trade a bit of it back.
Sometimes you just got to do it. Do a certain lane dominance, and Heike Savage wanted to give Julian a message saying, hey, even with Kenji roaming into the mid lane, it took you guys so many times to try and even force me off the turret. So Heike Savage has a lot to prove for himself as an individual, and then for the rest of Mirage Esports, they have a lot to prove to be able to come back against the ANEW Esports.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot has to happen here for Mirage to have, you know, a better early game than what they did last time. So we see Speedo and You Look So Charming duking it out in the top lane, but You So Charming going to take the better end of that trade, able to proc Conqueror a lot faster than Speedo in that situation. So able to heal some of the damage off. See Julian just getting abused in that mid lane, already forced to use the pot.
Heike Savage just having the push advantage so far, and this would normally amount for an opportunity for Hyper to be able to invade if he wanted to go for an aggressive start against Demetrio. But Hyper is just going for the full side clear on the top side of the map as well as the bot side. He will get spotted out by the ward that was placed earlier, though, so they will know his position.
Max range E coming out from Speedo, able to get the stun onto You Look So Charming. But again, just look at that CS difference in that top lane. The Irelia just putting in work here. And I mean, it's kind of to be expected. The Irelia, you know, able to CS a lot easier than what the Silas can in this early game matchup. But not too much CS was lost to the turret, so it's not that big of a deal. But still pretty massive.
Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, Tomo and QC, aka Pocus, are actually getting the advantage here on the trades against Andy, Bendy, and Kenji, which I think you would agree is pretty much to be expected. Andy, Bendy on the Vayne shouldn't have such an advantage laning phase as Demetrio going in for the gank on the top side of the map. Speedo's able to dodge out the Flawless Duet stun, but cannot dodge out the permafrost. But he doesn't take too much damage in the long run.
Yeah, no, great job by Speedo being able to avoid the gank there. And I mean, this is the first time really in the series that he's getting some attention in that top lane right now. But You Look So Charming getting a bit low, forced to use the last corruption pot, but still up 10 CS though. So I'll have to see if she can continue that pressure. So we see Sir Kenji getting hit in the face with the Braum Q, eating it to the mouth.
Yeah, and I mean, it just seems so hard for Kenji and Andy Bendy to be able to contest. Tomo and QC at the moment, the Braum passive is such a universally strong passive in this game, in the meta state right now. You compare that with almost any AD carry and make great work of it. And between that and, of course, the Winner's Bite, and, of course, the ability harass from Tomo, they are successfully just shoving this wave in and denying so much CS from Andy Bendy.
Yeah, no, and I mean, again, it's to be expected in this early game that they would be losing here for the side of Andy Bendy and Sir Kenji. Speedo taking a tower shot, but really pretty decently far ahead here. So we see the engage onto Tomo.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the top side of the map, there is also a dive going out. Tomo is going to have to be using
Wait a
his
minute.
cleanse, but he is super low. The flash comes out for Kenji, another flash from Andy Bendy, and they turn around the lane advantage that was against them, and it's first blood for Andy Bendy once again. Even QC has to flash away. Meanwhile, on the top side on the map, Hyper did go for the dive on the Leo. Looks so charming. It looked like a flash was burned out, and it's going to put Speedo ahead. But back to the bot lane, Sordo. You see this bot lane for QC and Tomo getting so far ahead, and then one misplay, and Andy, Benny, and Kenji take control of it.
Yeah, Tomo kind of overstepping there quite a bit. He saw QC going up towards the river and decides to walk up anyways, not really respecting the fact that Shurkenji can just flash forward and, you know, burn everything out. Andy Bendy, great follow-up, does get the Q auto to get the kill onto Tomo, but again, Tomo just not respecting the damage that comes out from Shurkenji in Vayne early game, and that's just going to be free first blood going over to Andy Bendy yet again.
And Hyper has found a wild boar and rider here in his jungle, and it looked like he was about to favor the trade, but the amount of damage that came out from the Winter's Wrath from Demetrio actually fended him off, and we see QC trying to contest some of this vision in the bot side of the jungle so that he can help out Hyper have a better time of being able to farm safely and gank effectively. But the amount of pressure that's coming off from Kenji off of the successful turnaround on bot side is giving Demetrio the window to be able to take this game back.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, again, we're back to seeing Julian just getting harassed in this mid lane. Just massive amounts of damage coming out from High Key Savage. This is not where you want to be, Julian.
And Julian is going to be forced to use the perfect execution to disengage the fight, and there's not enough damage coming out to be able to quite go in for the kill, but we do see a potential engage from mid lane as Demetrio comes in, forcing the flash away from High Key Savage over the wall. Even You Look So Charming was ready to join the party, but High Key Savage gets out before that happens.
The engage here from Shurkenji, though.
Taunt does land onto QC. The Ignite is taken down back onto Andy Benny, but he's looking for more damage. The press the attack, the Condemn, forcing Tomo away. And he might actually go in for one more, but doesn't have the flash. The E is not going to quite reach, but it does land onto Kenji. And Kenji might just suicide right here to get something back and prevent Andy Benny from going down. But it is a kill for Tomo.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're tied with the same amount of kills that they got last game. So, I mean, already an improvement nonetheless. I mean, great job there coming out from Tomo and QC. Okay.
Oh, okay, but Speedo
This might be the dive.
flashing away from the flawless duet stun, does miss his own Vanguard's edge, but still, You Look So Charming, now down on health, does not have the flash. War Machine Hyper is here for the gank here, and he doesn't really even need it. War Machine Speedo able to pick up the kill onto You Look So Charming.
Yeah, but Demetrio is on his way top lane with Shurkenji. He's gonna find Speedo right now.
Oh, and he has Glacial Prison if he needs to use it. Looking for the Permafrost stun first. Gets the stun down. There's the Glacial Prison for the double lockdown on that crowd control. And Kenji is also here for the battle as well. Hyper, I don't think you're getting out of this one, my friend, unless you can find some evasive maneuvers to make on this one. He's actually going to use the ultimate to try and get away, but the taunt was well-timed from Kenji. Keeps Hyper locked down despite using Flash.
Yeah, no, great discipline there from Shurkenji and Demetrio. They kind of just wait there. They know that he's dead, and with Aurelia coming up soon after, back towards that top lane, they knew that Hyper was dead, so no point in trying to, you know, force something that you don't have to. You just wait there, and eventually you get the kill. Now Demetrio sitting already at 2-0.
We said it before, Sordo. Even though Demetrio is not on the high-tempo jungler this time around, you know, the advantage was for Hyper to be able to snowball and make the aggressive plays early on. Somehow, once again, Demetrio has been able to find the strong early footing he needs to be able to put himself ahead in the game and set his team up for success as well.
Yeah, I mean, and if you go look at it, you know, Demetrio just coming in with the counter gank. A bit of an overstay there from Speedo and Hyper. But Rek'Sai is towards the bot lane, though. Maybe trying to make something happen.
War Machine Gang looking for something here as Tomo was faking himself as the Silas, looking for the E. Does not land the root, but Hyper's going to come in, but nice condemn from Andy Bendy. They're going to go in for the taunt as well. The Pop Blossom will land onto Sir Kenji and Andy Bendy, but it's still not enough damage as Hyper does get taken down by Kenji, and here comes Julian. He has the perfect execution to be able to get in range. QC landing the winner's bite on Andy Bendy will slow him down, but Julian opens up with the first perfect execution. Not enough damage so far. Looks like he will be disengaging the fight now that High Key Savage has also made his way here, but Demetrio looking to make that 3v3 a 4v3, but it looks like they're backing off for now.
They might try to go for something here. Wind Dragon is up, but they're not going to go for it. Instead, opting into getting the Scuttle Crab, which is, again, not a bad option here. Their bot lane does want to back.
Oh, ay Dios mío. That could have been a kill there for Tomo if he had been able to land the root, but Andy Benny. Oh,
oh my goodness.
Uh-oh, that is an angry pig, and that's an angry woman on the on the charge there. Gonna lock down High Key Savage as well for a kill. 3 kills to Demetrio's name so far.
Yeah, full tank, by the way. Just completely decimates High Key Savage. There's really nothing he can do there. Once he got hit with both parts of the W, he got Glacial Prisoned right after the Frostbite, and that was just it, or the Permafrost, and there was just nothing that he could do. Irelia, though, trying to make something happen.
Oh, you look so charming. Does land the Vanguard's Edge, looking for the flawless duet. Finally lands it on the Speedo, and this is just going to be the death for Speedo as he gets taken down by You Look So Charming.
I mean, it was Vanguard's Edge, Q, auto, then hits the E, Q, auto, and then another Q, and just dead. I mean, oh no.
Oh, the root does land. There is the Pop Blossom as well for the stun, and the ultimate from Hyper is going to be able to land. They're going to be able to take down Andy Benny, but he is far away from home and friends. He doesn't have the flash, does get the tunnel over the wall. Maybe he can get out of this one alive, but the Permafrost stun is going to land. The Winter's Wrath from Demetrio will take him down.
Yeah, no, great job there from Demetrio. Again, he's always where he needs to be for the counter ganks, and this is why he's now sitting at 4-0. Would you rather see a Vayne 4-0? Probably. But are you going to look a Sejuani that's 4-0 and be like, we don't really want you? Hell no! The Sejuani is going to be disgustingly tanky as we approach the mid-game, and it's just going to be so damn difficult to be able to kill her that you don't really have that much sustained damage, that DPS that you need to be able to take down the Sejuani so far.
Yeah, the Tomo is still trying to build towards that Blade of the Ruin King, whereas his lane opponent, Andy Benny, has it completed already. So the percentage health damage coming in from Tomo that needs to be there in order for him to take down this massive front line in both Demetrio and Kenji is going to be probably a couple more minutes as he's looking for the last few waves of CS, but Kenji might be looping around here as well.
Yeah, Demetrio on his way bot lane. So this might just be the dive here.
Demetrio does have Glacial Prison, comes in with the Arctic Assault and looks for the Winter's Wrath, but not going to find anyone quite yet. Was just testing the waters to see how well that engage would have started out. Hyper
They
is
can
on
still
the...
go for this.
Oh my god, the double loop around. If it doesn't work the first time, try it the second time, and even if it doesn't work the second time, sort of, maybe third time's the charm, but they do land the root onto the Pop Blossom, but Andy Benny with a will-time condemn is actually going to push him away and avoids the damage, allowing him to pick up the kill onto Pocus. Julian now going over the wall with the shuriken backflip is going to land this microstone with the perfect execution, takes him down with the 5-point key strike. Another kill for the side of ANEW Esports, and they're going to look to take down this first tower on the bot side of the map.
I mean, this is ANEW Esports for you. They rotate the map so well. They knew that the Sejuani was so fed. Demetrio already 5-0-1. And now we see 3-man collapse onto mid lane.
Hyper and Nike Savage were looking for some damage onto the turret. It does pull the rest of the members of ANEW Esports toward mid lane. And we do have a pause. It seems like there's some lag in the Discord audio chat. They just want to make sure the communications are still coming through clear. We will be back in the game in just a few minutes, folks. But so far, almost 14 minutes into the game, Sordo, what are your impressions so far looking at it?
I mean, Mirage is definitely putting up more of a fight that they did last game. But I mean, they're still falling into the same problems. Hyper on that tempo jungler has found a bit of success, but isn't, getting as much as Demetrio. And again, Demetrio on the Sejuani outscales the living hell out of Hyper, and you don't want this to happen.
Oh, Speedo actually going in for the perfect execution. Is going to get locked up under turret with the Permafrost and the taunt. And there's Julian with the flash trying to look for the kills, but he's able to flash away in time, and Julian will get taken down by High-Key Savage. Hyper also getting the shutdown kill on Demetrio, but You Look So Charming has made the teleport play, picking up a kill on the Hyper with the Vanguard's edge. Andy Benny is now also here, two-man taunt, looking for it, only getting it on the one. The stopwatch will prevent any more damage going down onto Pocus here, and that will be the end of that skirmish.
I mean, good picks coming out from Mirage Esports. They are still trying to, put their, game back together here, down 5 kills, but the gold lead isn't that bad right now. So it's still within reach. But this Vayne is starting to get kills, starting to work towards items, already on that Bork and Grievous, or Berserker Greaves. Gonna say Grievous Wounds. But she's already starting to get towards her 2-item power spike, which is going to be massive for her. You see, forced to flash. Demetrio, again, he's all over the map and forcing sums wherever he goes.
And at least for the sake of Mirage Esports, come this time around in the first game, they were down about 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 gold. And as you said, it's only 2,000 gold. 5 kills to 10, so it's not a huge deficit for Mirage Esports. So that is definitely a plus for them. But at the same time, as you said before, Andy Benny's definitely scaling up with this Vayne, and it's not going to get any easier for Mirage the later the game goes on.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we're already seeing the Irelia matchup go in favor of You Look So Charming 2-1-0. I mean, what more can you really do if you are Silas? You have the Vanguard's edge, though. So, you do have a massive slope. But again, for the side of ANEW Esports, they're just waiting until they hit their power spikes. Most of the champions on their team spike at 2 items. So once that comes around, it's going to be a really fun time for ANEW Esports. That there isn't much that Mirage can do in terms of fighting off the engage that's going to come from Demetrio and everyone else following up.
Yeah, and if you look at item power spikes right now in preparation for this Cloud Dragon, still no Blade of the Ruin King completed for Tomo, whereas Andy Benny has his, as well as the Berserker Greaves. Warrior Enchantment is there for Hyper, as well as the Seraphs or the Archangel Staffs for SVG, and the Proto Belt for Speedo. But then just across the board, I mean, it's still massive item advantage for Andy Bandy and Demetrio in terms of their counterparts here. And more than likely, they're just going to have to concede this Air Dragon over to the side of ANEW Esports.
Yeah, no, this thing is just going to be melted and gone. ANEW Esports, again, dominating the game in Dragons. Their objective control is really well done, but 3 people towards the top side might be the dive onto You Look So Charming.
Oh, there is the Up's going to abduct into the root. The Pop Blossom not going to land the stun, but the Glacial Fissure is enough crowd control to lock him down. Kenji is going to come in with the hero's entrance. Unfortunately, a little too late to save his comrade in You Look So Charming, but a nice kill, something to give reprieve for the side of Mirage Esports.
Rek'Sai is still there, going to stop the back of him. Julian taking damage under turret. But let's see if Hyper is able to get out of this one. Ed is able to go across turrets. And no, I mean...
Just taking a stroll on the bot side of the jungle.
Actually, he's
Demetrio,
still not out.
Oh no, and Julian is here, has the perfect execution for the micro stun. Hyper's still able to get the tunnel out, but he's going to go in with the perfect execution. Dodges it out with the ultimate, but it's still not going to be enough as Julian does pick up the kill on a wandering Hyper.
Yeah, but I mean, for the side of Mirage, they are, putting up more of a fight here. They have almost evened up the game, only 1,000 gold separating both teams. And it was a great dive onto You Look So Charming. They knew the rest of the team was towards the mid-bot side. And it kind of just sets up You Look So Charming to be dove there, not really respecting the fact that for Mirage Esports, they could just send 3 people up there and get the kill.
11 kills to 6. Still 2,000 gold lead for the side. And actually, not even 2,000 quite yet. It's under 2,000 for the side of ANEW Esports. So Mirage Esports are definitely clawing them way back into the game and at least putting up a fighting chance against their opponents here, as the root does land, Winter's Bite, and the auto attacks are going to connect, and they finally do get the kill onto Andy Bendy. Even the Glacial Prison was not enough to save Andy Bendy's life there.
Yeah, kind of just not respecting the fact that Tomo has a stun as well as QC afterwards. So, great pickup there by the disrespect from Andy. So they are, slowly clawing their way back in. Less than 1,000 gold does separate the teams right now. So this is their best opportunity for Mirage Esports to try and take a lead. They do have their champions starting to hit their power spikes. Rek'Sai has Warrior almost Black Cleaver finished, as well as the Silas with the Proto Belt. So we're going to have to see what they can do here now that the mid game is upon us.
And do you think it's better for Mirage Esports to continuously split up 1-3-1 in this manner that they are doing, or do you want to see them start collapsing as a 4-man or a 5-man unit at some point?
I mean, like we were saying earlier, fighting 5-man against ANEW Esports probably isn't your best option just because Demetrio is so damn tanky. You can't really do anything against him. So, I mean, doing this 1-3-1 kind of sets you up to be okay. The Rise and the to deal with the solo laner. Speaking of the solo laners, Akali.
Yeah, War Machine, Speedo, and Hyper are looking to get the damage down onto Julian as he does flash from the wall along with the perfect execution. Hyper even burning the Void Rush, not able to get enough damage. Actually, the Hero's Entrance is going to come in just a little too late. Once again, Kenji not able to save his comrade, but he might be able to lock down Hyper for the rest of his team to be able to cut off. Looks like Hyper is just going to try and die to the turrets before anyone else can get any assist gold off of this, but there was a kill being traded over 1-for-1 in favor of Mirage Esports. They might be able to get this turret as well, but the Vanguard's Edge with the Flawless Duet Sun is going to land. Pop Blossom is going to enough damage as well. The instant cleanse from Tomo, though, to be able to get away from the stun as well as the slow. Tomo is actually making a name for himself in this game despite being put far behind, but the action doesn't stop here. Sordo Speedo going for the perfect execution and the stun as well. Not going to be able to get the kill on the Lucas starts charming as he flashes away, but meanwhile Kenji has come over. What the hell is happening, Sordo? So much action is coming down onto the rift. They're going for damage. Vanguard's Edge coming out as the slow. Andy Bandy on the chase, looking for the damage, looking for the kills, flashing over the wall, gets the kill onto Tomo. Meanwhile, you look so charming and Julian in a 2v1, but Savage will be able to trade one back for one. The Realm Warper is going to come out, might be able to save someone, but no one is going to take that dangerous ride to safety. The Condemned does land, just needs one more auto. Andy Bandy needs to step up, but Heike Savage with the root takes him down. And Sir Kenji could not save his carry, and now it might be in favor of Mirage Esports as the Void Rush comes in looking for the damage on the Julian, gets the double kill, and a kill for Heike Savage. Holy cannoli, Sordo! What the hell just happened?
Oh my god, just a bloodbath all over the map, and it goes in favor of Mirage Esports. The Baron is up, and they're just going to go straight towards it. We don't even have time to talk about the fight. Baron already being started up. The jungler going to be down for another 15 seconds. Demetrio. The steal now, the only thing that can do it is basically the Galio. Teleport is coming in from the Aurelia. Does have Vanguard's Edge. This might be massive here.
Hyper's going to be able to secure the Baron. The Vanguard's Edge does come out as well, but it doesn't look like either team will opt into further fighting. It is a Baron buff secured for Mirage Esports, and off of the result of the Baron and the endless skirmishing, Sordo, they have now put themselves almost 4,000 gold ahead of ANEW Esports.
Yeah, no, I mean, it all stems from the disrespect coming out from Andy getting locked under turret, and then just walking up, gets rooted by Rise, dies. And I mean, just countless amounts of miscommunication coming out from ANEW Esports during that team fight costs them massive. Their carries go down early. And again, this Akali pick has not really done anything. It didn't do anything in game number 1, where it was, everyone else getting ahead. And it's not doing anything now in game 2. 1-3-2 on the Akali. And, just not having that much of a presence in the team fight versus the Rise right now, who's sitting at 3-1-3, almost perfect CS, and is just popping off, rooting up every single carry and making sure that his team can kill anyone that steps out of line.
And he's at such a good spot right now. The fully completed Seraph's Embrace, the Morello Nomicon for the Grievous wounds, as well as the extra spell penetration. And he even has a quick Silver Sash on top of it, Sordo. So if he gets stunned up by the Glacial Prison or the Taunt from Galio, he's going to be able to cleanse out of it right away, get back on his feet, and get back into the fray.
Yeah, no, I still am under the assumption that with the side of ANEW Esports, they do have a better team fight, but they have to fight together. They can't be using ultimates all split up the way that they were. They need to have Demetrio go in, or Julian even go in, and allow for Sir Kenji to use his heroic entrance, or else they're just going to lose every fight if it gets drawn out, and Nico's able to hit her Pop Blossom.
Speedo might be getting engaged upon here. The Glacial Prison as well as the Perfect Execution are going to try to lock him down. He's popping the Zonia's Hourglass to only delay potentially the inevitable here. Julian looking for more damage. Perfect Execution not doing as much damage as it could be, but the Permafrost stun might be enough. And the juggling is beautiful. They get one down onto Speedo, but Savage going to fight a 1v2 of his own on the top side of the map between You Look So Charming and Sir Kenji, trying to do as much damage as he can. It's not going to be enough, but the Void Rush will come out, takes down You Look So Charming, but now Hyper might be in a bad spot by himself. He does have bot lane coming up. He's going to get the tunnel out. It's going to stall them as long as they can. The Pop Blossom once again gets condemned out of the way. No stun coming out from the Pop Blossom, but Hyper's life has been saved.
Yeah, no, great condemn there coming out from Andy, saving him there. If he got hit with that Pop Blossom, ooh, that fight might have gone sour for him. But again, they're still trying to make aggressive plays for the side of Mirage. And they do get punished quite a little bit. 2 kills going in favor of ANEW Esports versus the one from the Irelia. So not that bad. Vayne already at those 2 items with the Rage Blade. Even though the Rage Blade did get nerfed, it's still a massive power spike, especially for someone like Vayne.
Be looking for something on the Sir Kenji. Just look at the amount of damage that's coming out. The Blade of the Rune King and the Wit's End doing so much work on Kenji. And he has gone for a Redemption Rush, so he doesn't have as many resistance and stats as he would have if he were going for a more tank-oriented build. It will give them a little bit of healing, though.
Yeah, no, right now, we're looking at turrets, right? 3-1 in favor of Mirage Esports. And, you know, until that mid tower falls down, there's not that much pressure that can come out from the side of ANEW Esports. So they really do need to start focusing on that mid tower. That's still at practically full HP right now. Or no, never mind. It's at I was looking at the map. I wasn't looking at the actual game.
You were close, man. Almost there.
Yeah, close.
Yeah,
close.
just like
100% versus 40%.
Yeah,
A versus F.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same case for Mirage Esports. They're so close. They did get that Baron buff, but we have to almost question the execution of the way they used it. They had Speedo on the one side of the map getting dove 1v2, and then Heike Savage was just trying to pressure on the other side of the map, and they still don't get many objectives out of it. Meanwhile, Vanguard's Edge has popped out from You Look So Charming, trying to disengage this, but he already gets popped by Tomo. Kenji flashing over the wall, trying to get away from danger as the rest of the members from Mirage Esports are trying to collapse in onto Andy Benny. The Realm Orb comes in, and Demetrio, that is not the place you want to be. That pig is going to squeal to death as Heike Savage does take him down.
Yeah, no, I don't really know what ANEW Esports is doing here. This is, you know, the 3rd or 4th time now that You Look So Charming has been caught out. And it's cost his team massive as the mid tower is now going to fall. That's going to go over to Mirage Esports. Glacial Prison just being thrown out from Speedo. Could it be the inhibitor tower as well? Wow.
You know, the Glacial Prison was a zoning ultimate. No worries on that. It does give them the pressure to be able to take both the inhibitor turret as well as the inhibitor itself. Julian, I don't know if you really want to take that backflip journey there. Just trying to get a little bit of harass damage and keep track of Hyper. But finally, sort of, it seems that Mirage Esports have the advantage that they want to look for, and Kenji stepping a little too far forward is just going to get massively locked down by all this CC, by all this damage. Hyper's going to take him down, and now Andy Benny does not have his support, does not have his jungler to be able to defend. The Void Rush comes in, and he sinks his claws right into the heart of Andy Benny, going to be taking him down for that double kill.
Yeah, no, Mirage in complete control now, going to force their advantage here, pushing everyone back. 3v5 right now. This might be the push towards the Nexus Towers. They don't have that much wave clear on the side of ANEW Esports. First tower going up right now.
This is a defense here from the side of ANEW Esports, but Julian is already going to fall, as well as You Look So Charming. And Sordo, I think that Mirage Esports might have done it, but they don't have a minion wave anymore, and they're going to be pushed off as Kenji and Andy Benny are on the respawn right now. Mirage Esports, unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to take any Nexus turrets, but the pressure is definitely there from the side of Mirage Esports.
Well, now it's going to translate over towards an Infernal Drake. Baron is spawned, so they do have to be careful now. Are they going to go towards the Infernal? No, they're going to be forced off by Sir Kenji. Everyone else has already spawned, and Julian has teleport. Baron pings are going out, though.
Ooh. They saw Hyper Recall on the bot side of the map, and they're
That's
calling
the teleport
for
in.
right here. The teleport is going to be stopped by the taunt here from High Key Savage. Is not going to be able to get out, but he's not going to be able to win the 1v1, but Kenji has delayed High Key Savage from being able to join his team. It's just Speedo and QC on the other side of the map trying to see if they can stop this Baron, but they need to be able to secure it for themselves. Demetrio will be able to secure the Baron, but at what cost? They're actually able to turn around into QC, and Speedo will not be able to be saved by the rest of his team. They were too far away to be able to be joined. Baron recalls are going to be coming out. It will get interrupted here by Hyper as he's looking just to stop recalls, but the damage has been done, Sordo, and ANEW Esports might have been able to find a way to get back in this game now.
Yeah, no, this is their breath of life right now. Infernal Dragon is going to go over to the side of Mirage Esports. That's going to be High Key Savage picking it up for them. But again, great decisive call there coming out from ANEW Esports. They saw the rise towards the bot lane and Rek'Sai as well. So they're just going to instantly go towards it. And that just puts them back in the game that they were sitting at about a 6k gold deficit. Now only at about 4k. Vayne, sitting at 2.5 items, already has the QSS and is starting to become a problem. Like that big thorn in the side of Mirage Esports that they can't seem to find her and kill her during these team fights.
And the problem that we have to say for the side of Mirage Esports, after they got that first Baron, it seemed like they found their footing to be able to close out the mid-game stride that they were looking for. But now that the Baron has been picked up by ANEW Esports, they have a way to be able to stall out, not necessarily end the game anytime soon, but just to buy themselves more time for this late game scaling composition that they've drafted themselves here.
Yeah, no, you want to let that Vayne hit those late game items, and as long as she's able to get to that point, she is able to carry Sejuani, already sitting on 3 items, Akali 2.5 items, going towards that Zhonya's Hourglass. So she's going to be able to go into the middle of the team fight and allow Sir Kenji to come in with the heroic entrance. And again, that's their goal. They want to be able to disrupt that backline. That if they're not able to do that, then, you know, what's the point of having the Galio other than the taunt?
It's going to be up to Mirage Esports to see if they can navigate these team fights successfully, as the Glacial Prison is going to be opened up here, as well as the Hero's Entrance. You look so charming, diving under the turret, but the Pop Blossom with the massive AoE stun is going to buy as much time as they can, but it might not be enough, as Julian and the rest of ANEW Esports are tearing right through Mirage, making them the illusions that they appear to be in their name. You look so charming, picking up a kill, as well as Demetrio. Only 2 members are left in the path of ANEW Esports.
Great job there by You Look So Charming. Kind of just suicides in, and they use everything in the kitchen sink onto her, which just allows Andy Bendy to say, you know what? I'm a Vayne. I got 2 items. Come mess with me instead. Hops off throughout the entire fight, getting everyone extremely low, and that's going to be the inhibitor in return coming out.
Hyper does get a valuable kill onto Julian, being able to take him down with the Void Rush, and still lives with his life as well. But now it's going to be up to High Key Savage to see if he can defend this as well. But the Arctic Assault plus the Flash is going to guarantee the knockup, and ANEW Esports looking to close out the series 2-0 before it can be 2-1. QC, it's going to be up to you and Hyper to see if you can defend this. The multi-man knockup is not going to be there, only on to 1. Tomo there with the damage. They're trying to end the base, but it might not be enough. Andy Bendy and Demetrio are going to die at this point, and Tomo and the rest of Mirage Esports will defend. They say, we're not going down without a fight. We want to bring this to game 3.
That's the teleport onto the bot lane, though. Silas trying to make something happen here. The attack onto the bot lane inhibitor is going on, but Akali is coming up in 5 seconds here. Gonna try to defend against against Speedo, but I don't know how much he's going to be able to do. There's 4 members strong into the base right now. Mid lane inhibitor also getting attacked on. Julian, I don't know what he's going to be able to do here. Trying to stall out some time.
And Julian is definitely trying to stall out some time, but the inhibitors still go down on the bot side in the mid side of the map. And now Julian might be in a bad spot as he's going to use the perfect execution to try and disengage and to get away from the members of Mirage Esports. He might have successfully done it, but inhibitors now down for the side of ANEW Esports as they're still not done with the chase here. Upscon Abduct is not going to quite land. Julian is still in the chase. Void Rush is going to come out, is to be able to close the distance. Can he get onto the Blast Cone plant before? But High Key Savage is just here for the kill. And at this point, Julian says, I give up. I tried my best. He's just going to go back to the fountain and come back up in 40 seconds.
You know what? At the end of the day, that ends up being worth it for them. ANEW Esports able to stall out, and especially Julian able to stall out the game just to make sure that Mirage cannot end the game here. But this Rek'Sai is massive right now. 12, 6, and 6. Hyper putting on a better performance, definitely more than he was last game. Still a 4K gold lead almost in favor for Mirage. So now for ANEW Esports, they really do need to just wait. Try to 5v5 yet again. That if Andy Bendy stays alive throughout the entire fight, it basically is over for the side of Mirage. But speaking of being alive,
Andy Bendy, the Pop Blossom is going to land with the stun. It's going to lock down Andy Bendy. This could be the opening that Mirage Esports need to be able to bring it to a game 3. Kenji being locked down as well. That's going to be the double kill for Tomo. Abscon Abduct is going to land onto Demetrio, trying to lock down the pig, trying to turn that crap into bacon for himself. You look so charming and Julian. They're trying to turn this fight around, but it's a triple kill for Tomo. Maybe could potentially look for the quadra as well. It's the quadra kill. Can he get the penta kill? Tomo on the on-hit Nico, gonna try and close out this game, but Demetrio, being a scumbag, is not going to give the pentakill over to Tomo unless he can catch up and get some range on it. The rest of the members of Mirage Esports are gonna try and close out the game though as we get ready for game 3 here, Sordo. Demetrio still not giving over the honorary pentakill, but Mirage Esports, they brought it back.
oh my god, just a big, again, disrespect coming out from Andy Bendy. The whole game kind of snowballed the moment that he disrespected the Rise and getting rooted under tower. But I mean, what the hell just happened? Andy Bendy gets caught out again pulling a Sven. Gets instantly killed out of nowhere, and that just costs his team the game. Luckily, it's not, game 3. You still have another game to come back, but my god, what a massive misplay there coming out from Andy Bendy.
You could say it's a misplay as well, but we have to give credit where it is due to both High Key Savage and Tomo for finding the picks necessary to be able to get back in this game, and along with the rest of Hyper and Speedo and Pocus at their back, supporting them through every aggressive move they made. They were able to bring back the game, and it got even to the point where ANEW Esports off of that Baron and finding the pick on the 3 members in the mid lane, they almost closed out the game, Sordo. They were about to make it a 2-0 sweep, but they held strong. They basically did their best Bloon Tower defense impersonation right there. They were able to bring it back, find the final pick they needed onto Andy Bendy, and they closed out the game.
And I mean, great job there coming out from Mirage, getting kind of destroyed in game 1. Like, we can both agree they got completely steamrolled in game 1. Coming back in game 2, putting out a show for us here at Upsurge for the UPL, just bringing it to game 3, making this first series of the season a damn well exciting one.
Absolutely, and we will be getting ready for game 3, folks, as we get ready to throw it to break, but don't tune away. The final exciting concluding game of this series will be a few moments away. boys. What? Oh, wait. Well, oh, okay. Well, we are unmuted as our producer just informed us. But ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into Game 3, the exciting conclusion of this series. After seeing such a strong start from the side of ANEW Esports, we thought that this was going to be a quick 2-0 during the pre-draft, but sorto, Mirage Esports found the footing that they needed to be on, and they have taken the second game to bring us to this Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, and it's off of the back of Hyper. Really strong performance on the Rex side, but it's going to be banned this game. I mean, Tomo also doing really well on the Nico. Now having lots of lane presence, as well as later on in the game getting a quadra kill. We see Sona being hovered yet again. Don't do this to me.
Sort of. I know how much disdain you had for this combination here, and if they lock it in, then they do realize that they're going to have to be wary of a extreme lane bully that potentially could be coming out, but they've made the audible. They're going to go for the Jarvan instead and try and give Hyper a stronger jungle matchup here.
And I'd like to see the Galio pick up here, as, you know, that engage with the Galio Jarvan is really strong. And it would do well as, you know, your first two picks, but Cassiopeia being hovered and locked in. Probably to go up against the Rise here. I mean, an interesting matchup nonetheless. That does go in favor of Cassiopeia for a fair bit of the matchup. So, not the worst pick to give over to Savage.
Yeah, and it is surprising that they didn't right away go for the Galio. That either says that they were afraid of the Cassiopeia being locked in, but the Nidalee, guys, I don't know if we mentioned this before in Game 2, but in Game 1, Nidalee was taken away from Nove, aka Demetrio. He loves playing this champion, and if the Nidalee is in the right hands and it is performed and executed well, then it is a massive terror to go up against the jungle.
Yeah, no, and Lucian going to be locked in as well for Andy Bendy. Again, they decided to stray away from those late game carries and go towards that early aggressiveness that got them the win in Game 1 so massively. So, Irelia going to be locked in for Speedo. They do not want You Look So Charming on that Irelia again, even though he did get caught out a fair bit. Starting out throughout laning phase, starting out 2-1, kind of just dumpstering Speedo in that top lane, but Braum going to be taken off the table. They do not want to deal with that Lucian Braum bot lane.
Yeah, and it is very curious that for the side of Mirage Esports, a couple of picks that did work for them in Game 2 have kind of fallen through the cracks, mainly looking at Sylas. Sylas has not been locked in by either team so far, and also the Braum was also available to pick up for Pocus. Execute that well with Tomo's Nico so well. In fact, they banned it away, and they are actually afraid of Tomo locking in the Vayne, so they're just going to take that late game carry away from it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to have the Lucian Vayne matchup there. I do kind of expect maybe a Sivir ban here, or, you know, some other form of an ADC ban coming out from the side of ANEW Esports. That even though Lucian is a fairly strong ADC, he's not the strongest in the meta at the moment, and there are a lot of people that, you know, you don't want to deal with. But the Galio going to be taken off. They don't want to see that J4 Galio combo that, surprisingly for the side of Mirage, they just didn't pick up and instead opted into the Irelia. But Nautilus, yet another good person to come with the J4. You use that depth charge with the Dredge line, as well as the Flag and Drag from J4 with the Cataclysm, is a massive amount of engage coming out from Mirage already in this draft.
And I have to ask, sort of, just because the way that the draft is kind of spilled out for the side of Mirage Esports is a little curious. They're either saving last pick for the AD carry, or, hear me out on this, what is the possibility that the Cassiopeia is actually flexed to Tomo in the bot lane, and they're saving a final counter pick for either the mid lane for Heike Savage or for Speedo in the top lane?
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst options that we could see. You know, the Nautilus in the mid. There could be a bunch of different combinations that could go on here. But with the Morgana being locked in, it becomes quite troublesome if you want the Cassiopeia in that. Okay.
Woo! And they're representing their team tag as well. Cat 1 for Yumi being locked in. I believe this is the first Yumi performance in the in the UPL. I'm not sure, or for Upsurge across, but I mean, oh man, Sordo, this changes things so much now.
Well, there's a lot of things that are okay.
Wait, is that actually Cassiopeia bot lane?
I think it is.
Oh my god!
Okay. All right. Okay.
What the hell is happening?
I don't know. I am shooketh right now by both teams. I really wasn't expecting the Yumi to come in. That we've started to see Yumi pop up more and more, but it tends to be with something like the Ezra, like the Tristana. But instead, questionable.
Question marks in the chat. Apparently. Oh, wait a minute. Apparently, Yumi is actually supposed to be Riven, and they just couldn't find the champion to lock in. So, okay, well that's a completely new pick as well.
Yeah. So now you have the Morgana support. You have a Riven top. Okay, it looks a lot better. Like a lot better.
Yeah.
Inside of ANEW Esports. Not gonna lie to you. And apparently the lobby is glitched as well. So I guess we will send it to a short intermission yet again.
Before we do this, I think the plan of attack here, Sordo, is that we will allow them to fix the lobby, and then we'll just go through spectator delay as normal. But before we get into Game 3, we do have one final sponsor shout-out, and it is to Midwest Esports. They have been around for many years, starting out as a small student group out of Wichita State University. And ever since then, Midwest Esports has grown to be a veteran organizer to tournaments and events through the United States. They host tournaments for games like League of Legends, as we're playing right now, Rocket League, as well as Overwatch. If you want any more information, folks, check out at MidwestEsports.com. And we will be back for the exciting conclusion of Game 3 for this series between ANEW Esports and Mirage. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for has finally arrived in this exciting series, as the conclusion is now live on the rift between ANEW Esports and Mirage Esports. And just to give you a little quick update, that wasn't supposed to be Yumi. It was supposed to be a Riven being locked in for You Look So Charming. But because that pick was before the final pick for the side of Mirage, they had the opportunity to switch their Silas pick to the Renekton pick to be able to counter this Riven in the top lane matchup.
Yeah, so now you put the Cassiopeia in that bot lane, taking the teleport versus Lucian Morgana. And we were talking a little bit about it during our little intermission that we had, that for the side of ANEW Esports, they really need to spike in that mid game. It is crucial that Demetrio, he is going to fall off the face of the earth once you hit towards that late game. And if you're not able to get yourself ahead on someone like Nidalee with a Riven in the top lane, you're kind of just asking for trouble here.
This is a very high risk, high reward composition coming out from ANEW Esports. We have all seen in solo queue how volatile picks like Nidalee and Riven can be.
Wait, J4 is already making his way towards top side. Renekton started W.
And he's going for the level 2 gank cheese onto You Look So Charming. He does have flash.
He's dead.
But he doesn't. He's going to be able to flash the Q and the EQ, but it's not going to be enough as Hyper does flash in and starts off the game with the first blood.
Yeah, speaking of early game aggression, we just see Hyper immediately going for that level 2. Great job by Speedo there. Just coming in, starting the W. Know that he has a bit of an advantage versus the Riven in that early game. And just punishes her so well. Even though the CS lead is heavily in her favor, that's still just first blood over to Hyper.
And that's the tone that you want to be able to set for the side of Mirage Esports. However, one thing to note, though, is that even though You Look So Charming does give up the first death to Speedo, he's still down quite a few CS, and You Look So Charming has pushed in the wave. Actually might be looking for a 3-man gank on the mid lane, but thankfully for Mirage, Hyper is also there to answer.
Yeah, Riven coming in. Savage forced to flash already.
As well, and even the spear comes gliding through the wall. But Savage, as you said, is going to burn the flash just in anticipation of the gank, as Julian also burned the flash to try and set something up for his team.
So Kenji in a kind of bad position here. Gonna be... Oh, good route!
Wait, that's a massive stun into the Dark Binding, and the spear is there for the damage. Is going to be able to take down Hyper, but not before he does go down to Tomo. Sir Kenji is just going to take the safe route, flash over the wall, but a jungler being traded on both sides.
Yeah, but now you have a kill onto the Cassiopeia. Tomo already, you know, kind of favored to win this as the game progresses. Now going to be able to work towards either the tier or, you know, the Luden's Echo. So in a pretty good position there. Going to be able to teleport back up as well. It's going to be the stun onto Riven. Speedo just going to dash out. Does take 2 tower shots though. So it does even out the trade at the end of the day.
He's just trying to shove that wave in and get as much harass as he can. Meanwhile, You Look So Charming. Despite being a kill down, he's still showing aggression and just confidence in being able to trade back onto this Renekton, who traditionally is one of Riven's most weaker matchups, but just look
Nidalee's
at
here.
Oh, but here comes Nidalee. The stun is not there to be able to lock him down, but War Machine Speedo does have the flash if he needs it. Demetrio's going to flash in, gets the spear as well, and that's going to be flashes traded for the Crocodile versus the Kitty Cat.
Yeah, I mean, you always want to trade the jungler's flash for the laner's flash, but the Nidalee wants to be fighting J4, and now without a flash, that option kind of goes out the window a little bit unless she's able to be in her Cougar form and just dash out of the way of the flag and drag coming out from J4. But good job by Andy Bendy. They're going to set up a freeze in the bot lane, force the Cassiopeia to miss quite a bit of CS, and now the Lucian is going to be able to catch up. Tomo, kind of in a bad position. Good Black Shield.
Oh, but look at the trade damage coming out, but nice Dark Binding coming out from Sir Kenji is going to get some damage back on the Tobo and equalize the trade somewhat here for the side of ANEW Esports. But they're getting pushed in now. The wave should hopefully reset for the side of Mirage so that Andy Betty can no longer freeze it.
Oh, great stun there by Julian.
Oh, but it was all an elaborate route. Haiki Savage thought that he had the opportunity to go in, but Julian just baits him in for the kitty cat to be able to sink the spear and the claws. And Hyper was trying to start up the dragon. Is going to get cut off by the zoning spear. Dark Binding will come out as well, forcing Hyper to use the EQ flag drag to get away. They're not going to be able to secure that dragon.
Yeah, no, that's going to be an Ocean Dragon going over to the side of ANEW Esports, and that's massive for them, especially for someone like You're So Charming, who's going extremely low here.
Oh, and just needs one more auto to be able to take him down. The press the attack Keystone does so much work onto the Riven here. Speedo being able to get a solo kill is massive for this lane.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have the Ocean Dragon now, so you're going to be able to sustain, but like you were saying, the Renekton beats the hell out of Riven early game, and I mean, you just need to survive. But now QC flashing forward, Black Shield by Sir Kenji, saving the Lucian.
1 second later, and it would have been lights out for Andy Bendy, as the amount of damage that could have come out from Tomo in that situation could have been life-threatening onto Andy Bendy, but the Black Shield, as well as the Flash, is going to be able to distance himself away.
Oh, no.
Oh, man, You Look So Charming just wants to be able to get some damn CS, but the Crocodile is just making it so hard for him.
Yeah, these Black Shields coming out from Sir Kenji are massive. That's one of the first bindings that he's missed all game. And really putting the hurt on to Tomo and QC right now. There's not much that they can do. If Morgana lands a binding and Black Shields Andy Bendy, it kind of just makes QC worthless, and Tomo forced to sit there is not what you want to be doing with Cassiopeia, especially when you take Phase Rush.
Andy Bendy is running out of mana, however, and Tomo almost in the similar spot as well, but with the Lost Chapter upon level 6 should be able to get a
Julian's
huge
here,
amount of
though.
mana, but oh my god, 4-man dive onto the Snake, and Nautilus is going to be an easy pickup kill for Andy Bendy as he culls him down. Sir Kenji also just taking the turret shots, being so vital in that turret dive. That was super clean.
Yeah, no, J4 is going to take the blue buff as a consolation prize here. Or actually, they might just be looking towards diving You Look So Charming. All popped by Renekton.
And he's taking damage right now, but he's got to be careful not to take too
Wait a
much
minute.
right here under
This
the
is
turret.
a trade!
And it is a trade. He just taken... I don't even know if the turret dive was started way too early. Didn't seem that Hyper wasn't quite positioned, but he started taking damage as soon as he popped the Dominus.
Yeah, that was just a huge misplay coming out from Speedo. And that's just going to be a good amount of gold going over to You Look So Charming. QC, though, this is not where you want to be, buddy. This isn't your jungle anymore.
Yeah, Demetrio does not get the second spear, but might have enough damage now that he's level 6. The empowered damage on all of the Cougar form abilities is able to take down QC.
And on the other side of the map, though, Hyper is going to be taking the blue buff, which is going to put Julian fairly far behind. Rise, a very mana-dependent champion, just going to lose the blue. But J4 in a great position to gank Julian here.
And these flawless duet stuns are pretty immaculate from SVG, but Savage is going to have to bail out of there, even though with Hyper at his side, it was a 3-on-2. Did not want to opt into that situation, but it does force the Realm Warp out of Julian.
And a Realm Warp, not that massive of an ultimate. You really care more about the Rise just getting farm. If you would have burned Flash, it would have been a massive summoner burned there. It's not the worst thing. Lucian finding Hyper in the jungle, though, forcing him to exit the jungle. Again, this isn't your jungle if you are Mirage Esports. This just belongs to ANEW. And that's going to be the blue buff transfer yet again over to the Rise.
And this is what we were talking about in the draft phase. I mean, we all know that Nidalee has the volatility to either do super insanely well in the early mid game or fall flat on her face. But no, despite giving up a kill in that trade against Hyper earlier on in the game, is making use of the mobility, the ability to aggress into Hyper's jungle, and he's taking everything from this guy as well.
I mean, we were talking about it in game 1. Ooh, Julian almost able to get the stun, but the latency ping does not allow for the recall to be canceled. Yeah, kind of unlucky there. But, you know, we were talking about it in game 1, right? Demetrio was being called, you know, oh, a Nidalee one trick. Well, you know, the Nidalee one trick, if you want to call her that, now has the champion that he wants. I mean, already 2-1. Putting pressure in all the lanes, this is all you can ask for an early game jungler like Nidalee.
He's not insanely ahead of Hyper in terms of CS, but in terms of gold, he's got a nice sizable 500 gold lead for himself, has the Runic Echoes completed along with the Sheen, so anytime that Nova is able to find someone in the jungle in the form of the Cougar is going to be able to just do that much more damage and burst whenever he goes in with the takedown.
3 people are collapsing towards top side here. Why are you so charming?
Oh.
That's not where you want to be, but Demetrio also in kind of a bad position. Same thing with
And
Julian.
Hyper prepares the Cataclysm and the EQ right onto Julian as he flashes away, but it's still not going to get out alive. It sets up Speedo for success, and the Crocodile gonna start off game 3 with a triple kill.
Yeah, Speedo already 5-1 with the Ninja Tab Eyes. You don't really want to continue fighting Speedo right now. He's at, the strong part of his game. He's only going to get stronger for, the next 10 to 20 minutes. And, okay.
Sir Kenji just looking for the engage, does flash Soul Shackles right
Petrifying
onto
Gaze.
2, but the Petrifying Gaze into the stun from War Machine QC might be enough damage, and Tomo is going to be able to survive against Andy Bendy. The Nautilus ultimate, QC, you're a god! Double kill coming in for the bot lane of Mirage Esports.
Yeah, no, and then on top of that, turret plating's also falling in the mid lane. 2 plates taken, as well as the plates from the top lane. This is just going great for the side of Mirage. Again, they scale really well into the late game, and the early team comp coming out from ANEW Esports is kind of just falling flat on their back.
Mirage Esports finally coming back and showing the strength of their numbers here in the 3v3 on the top side of the map, as well as the isolated 2v2 on the bot side of the map. You have to remember, Kenji is the one that forced that engage with the flash Soul Shackles, but decisive maneuvers from Tomo and QC able to get away from the Soul Shackles and re-engage right onto Andy Bandy, isolating him from Kenji's protection.
And no, I mean, this is going from bad to worse. You're supposed to have winning matchups in that bot lane and in the jungle, but right now the J4 is putting out more pressure than Nidalee, and it's just not looking all too good. Speedo trying to look for something on the Riven, already puts her to less than half HP.
Yikes. He has the BF sword in addition to the Tiamat, so he's already so close to completing that Spear of Shojin, and with the Ninja Tabby boots, it just makes the trades ever so more advantageous for himself here. And I don't know if You Look So Charming is going to be able to come back in this lane matchup anytime soon.
Most likely not. Up until the late game when he can finally start to fight Renekton, it's not possible for Renekton to lose it unless he, disconnects his keyboard and mouse, and even at that, if he just autos her, he's probably still going to kill her. This is not where you want to be if you're so charming. Oh my goodness.
He is proxying between turrets at this point. He doesn't give a damn what You Look So Charming tries to do. Every time he is forced to recall, come back to lane, and somehow Speedo is still able to win out on Trace. He's going to flash in as he does have Hyper in the wings to help him set himself up for that kill, and they're going to take first brick on the top side of the map.
Yeah, the dragon was secure on the other side of the map, though it was still a double ocean. Tomo getting really low, though.
Oh, Tomo barely is going to go down. The last tick of the Soul Shackles will be able to do the trick, but the ultimate from Nautilus with the turret shot is going to do enough. QC is the real carry. Might as well just go AP Nautilus at this point. Another double kill for himself on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, again, Andy Bendy, I don't really know what he's doing. The last 2 games, he's just been positioning so terribly under tower and just taking turret shots where he really shouldn't be. Demetrio, in a bad position, does get stunned up.
Oh, and there's the Vanguard's Edge. It's just going to force Demetrio, aka Nope, to flash over the wall to safety. And already, we talked about the volatility of these picks, and we have to come back to it once again, Sordo. This Nidalee can flourish if given the support and constant lane dominance and priority in his side lanes whenever he's aggressing towards a particular side of the map. But if his bot lane is starting to lose pressure here and these 2v2s,
oh no,
it's not going to do Demetrio much good on this Nidalee anymore.
Yeah, I really thought the Renekton was going to kill You Look So Charming again. But no, you are right. Like, it's okay to have the Riven losing. The Riven scales really well into the late game. It's fine. But having Lucian behind, a champion that really excels at that 1 to 2 item power spike, if you have him behind, it really goes from bad to worse. The only advantage, that he has, as Speedo's trying to get the stun here, is doing so much damage, barely even hitting any of his abilities and still doing that much. But the advantage that you have, right, is the whole concept back at the beginning of Season 8, halfway through, where they changed the ADCs, is, ADCs will outscale. But, okay, never mind.
Oh, that's SVG looking for the engage here. The Flawless Duet Sun only landing on the 2. Hyper not committing the Cataclysm quite yet, as You Look So Charming is going to use his teleport to join the fight, and it's already 5-man people here. The scene is so terrifying right now. Even my dog in the background is just freaking out, but the Rift Herald is going to pop here. They're not going to use it on the second tier
behind
yet. Oh, War Machine Speedo is going to get stunned up by the Dark Binding. Going to go in for the stun, but it hits onto a black shielded target, so it's not going to do any good. And the shutdown gold will go over to Julian. Nautilus popping the Death Charge, trying to buy as much time for his team, but he's just going to get locked down for easy pickings for the side of ANEW Esports. And Mirage, they might have thrown their lead here.
Yeah, just a little bit here. Gold lead's still in their favor, but now they can push towards that mid T2 tower, and it's going to fall thanks to Shelly hitting it earlier during that team fight. And now the gold's only about 1,000 apart, where it was sitting at close to 3.5K just a few seconds ago. Hyper looking for the engage here, Cataclysm.
Oh, a Cataclysm to start off and goes for the EQ flag and drag. The Conqueror is procced. He's trying to get as much damage as he can, but it's not going to be enough. He's only full tank. You have to remember, Vanguard's Edge will land on the 2 members, forcing both of them, in Julian and Sirkenji, to flash away to safety.
Yeah, no, if they didn't flash, they really would have been able just to queue forward, and that would have probably been the death of all 3 of them. So great reactionary flashes coming out from both of them. But again, the gold lead is still only about 1,000 gold. Summoners were burnt, though. So that is going to be massive, as probably the next team fight is going to come, fairly soon. Lucian does finish the cull, so he does have a bit of money in the bank, sitting on about 2.5K gold at this point, and that's going to be massive for him, as we now are finally in this mid-game.
Almost 18 minutes now. As you pointed out, it's only a 2,000 gold lead for Mirage. Little fumbles here for Speedo and QC trying to extend their lead, and Speedo, well, he's gonna find his mark onto You Look So Charming. There's no Cataclysm to be able to follow up.
Wait a minute, Tomo!
Oh, Tomo getting gunned down by Andy Benny, looking for the more autos. He flashes in for the final killing blow.
I mean, I guess the ADCs just want to trade roles there. It's usually Andy Bendy that gets caught out, but in this case, it's going to be Tomo in the bad situation again. He hasn't really gotten much CS or much gold in the past couple of minutes, has been sitting on his Archangel staff and the blasting wand for the longest time, now finally getting that fiendish codex. But I mean, he hasn't really been doing much of anything. Demetrio, though, in a pretty bad position. Teleport Dredge. Okay, goodbye.
Yeah, charge right into Flawless Duet Stun. The CC pairing and combination just so damn clean from the side of Mirage Esports. That's the jungler down. This should be an easy dragon being secured.
Yeah, it's going to be the dragon going over to the side of Mirage Esports. But in the top lane, Riven is starting to hammer down on the tower. Bot lane T1 does go down as well. This is pretty big here. And that Lucian is starting to ramp up on that damage, going the Essence Reaver, second item. As we see the Riven going to be taking down to the T1 tower in the top lane. And now we start to see ANEW Esports coming back into the game. They're down 4 kills, but because they're up 3 towers, they've now been able to equalize the gold. But the dive here onto Julian might be prevalent.
Kenji is here for the assistance as well. The Black Shield's going to come out a little early just in case. Rune Prison will lock down QC for quite a bit of time, and it looks like that's going to be enough to dissuade the rest of Mirage Esports from going for this dive, as Andy Benny and Nove were already making their way to assist in the cause.
Yeah, but they're still down there. This isn't the best position for the side of ANEW Esports, that there are people all around them. Irelia kind of in a bad position. They're going to take the Realm Warp forward.
And there is the flawless wet stun. It's going to stun up Demetrio, but not Julian, as he had the black shield on. The damage is coming out of Vanguard's edge. We'll slow
4
them
people
down.
are collapsing, though. 5 people.
Oh, baby. Here we go. This is going to be the turnaround. Cataclysm might be coming out from Tomo, or I should say Hyper. They just lock him down. They blow up the kitty cat so fast. Julian trying to do as much as he can. Is not going to be able to take down Tomo, as the rest of the damage from Mirage Esports. They wipe house on the members of ANEW Esports. Andy Benny trying to do his best to push in his advantage in the mid lane, but not going to get much achieved.
Yeah, no. They kind of just disrespected the teleports coming out. They knew that 4 people were towards the mid bot side, and they thought that they could get a quick kill onto the Irelia. But I mean, just big communication misplay coming out from ANEW Esports, and it does cost them the gold lead that they were trying to build, brought it back to even just to put themselves behind yet again.
This whole series, at least starting from Game 2, Sordo, has been super back and forth. Game 1 was a very convincing stomp from ANEW Esports, starting out the game at 15 minutes with a 10-0 lead for themselves. But now that Mirage Esports have gotten a little bit of time after the Game 1 warm-up, they've been able to trade back and forth. But they need to be able to secure decisive leads here, as Hyper is going to find himself in a 1v2. Does not get the EQ flag, has the flash, but I think he's not going to be able to get out to safety. Actually, with the flash and the Hex Drinker shield, will be able to survive. And Speedo's trying to do his best to defend his comrade here, but Demetrio just on the hunt. Is able to get the pounce reset onto Renekton, right onto Hyper as well, and is still going to live with just a sliver of health. Even Psyche Savage is here. Meanwhile, whoa, what the freak just happened? Tomo is able to 1v1 Julian, or Andy Benny on the other side of the map, but QC now all alone by himself. Hikey Savage did not want to opt in for that one, but it's just the endless. They're still going, Sordo. The endless skirmishing. It never stops. But the stopwatch is going to be popped super early by Tomo.
The ace.
And it's not going to be enough for Hikey Savage to be able to win that one. And this could be Baron.
Yeah, that is just going to be Baron. Jungler is dead for another 5 seconds. They have a lot of damage with everyone there. I mean, the team is based on damage. Baron already down to about 3k HP, 2k, 1k. That's going to be the Baron going over to ANEW Esports. And my goodness, they just completely threw the fight if you are Mirage. Just miscommunications going on different people. The fight was just so split out. Yes, Tomo did pick off Andy Bendy, but I mean, he just wasn't there to put out the damage, and thus just cost his team the entire fight. And now the lead is in favor of ANEW Esports.
And it just seems that, as you said, not everyone was on the same page for the side of Mirage Esports. When you look at ANEW Esports, they all were committed. It's like, all right, we are going to clean up the kills on the Hyper and Speedo. And then one by one, QC roamed up. High-Key Savage roamed up. But we all know that that does not work just from solo queue. Whenever you just go in one by one, it's like, okay, I'm here, guys. Oh, crap, I'm dead. I'm here, guys. No, I'm dead now. And these are supposed to be, you know, competitive teams. So I don't know what happened in terms of the communication breakdown, but maybe it's the nerves. Maybe things are just super tense for the side of Mirage Esports. But if they want to secure this win in the series against ANEW Esports, they have to clean up their communication and teamwork.
I mean, the thing is, the moment that Speedo dies, the fight is basically over. He is the majority of your gold lead right now. Well, was majority of your gold lead. He's still a major part of your gold right now, is invested into Speedo. If he is not allowed to pop off during the fight, get onto the backline, get onto people like Julian, like Andy, then the fight is basically over. And right now, Riven is just taking it to Speedo.
And he has the Death Stance, so he might have enough sustain to be able to match against Speedo, but the damage coming out for the Pressy attack, as well as the Spear of the Shojin, giving him enough resets and cooldown, is going to allow him to win the 1v1. You Look So Charming will not fall quite yet, thanks to the Death Stance healing, but he still cannot 1v1 Speedo quite yet.
The thing is, he doesn't even need to 1v1 Speedo. The fact that he's still able to survive and put Speedo to about 20% HP while getting out is massive right now. Speedo is supposed to be the one that can just 1v1 anyone, does not matter. And the fact that Riven can go toe-to-toe with him, yes, she still does lose, but look at the gold difference, right? You have about 1,100 more gold onto Speedo than you do on You Look So Charming. And the fact that You Look So Charming is still able to fight Speedo and barely lose just means that the Renekton is starting to fall off. And the team comp now, this mid-game spiking team comp for a new esports is starting to pop off.
It just means that time is running out in that top lane matchup for Speedo. His advantage was massive in the early game, especially at the highlight, the peak being that triple kill in that 3v3. But now, as you mentioned, Sordo, even with the Spear Sojourn and Black Cleaver, the 40% CDR giving him the massive cooldown resets whenever he pops the Dominus, it's still not enough to completely destroy You Look So Charming. And it's not going to get better for him as the game progresses.
The thing is, you have so many things to stop Speedo. You have the Black Shield coming out from Sir Kenji. You have Julian with the Root. You have Riven with all of her stuns, the Q, the W. That's going to be the Cataclysm. Forced Flash from Sir Kenji, though.
Yeah,
Maybe
Mirage
the Blue Buff
Esports
Shield.
just trying to find something. They are able to secure the blue buff, but the calling is going to come out from Andy Benny. Not going to find the shots that he needs, but it does push them away, regardless, away from the jungle.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, this is sort of like the beginning of the game where it's like, this is not your jungle, you can't be here. Now they're going to force the tower in the bot lane. Bot T2 going down as Ryze is still in the top lane. Julian pushing it in, forcing the Irelia to respond, but now you're just splitting up Mirage all over the map. Hyper trying to look for something, not going to find anything though.
And it seems like the only way that Mirage Esports' way of getting back into the game is to buy time for Tomo to scale up. Because you can already see on the side of ANEW Esports, they have built their resistances early, only towards the physical damage dealers. You even see an Iceborne Gauntlet coming out from Nidalee as well, which is something you normally don't see unless she is really depending on not dying.
Well, the thing is, Tomo has kind of just been irrelevant for most of the game, not getting that much damage off during team fights. So you can kind of ignore it. It's been Renekton, but Andy Bendy yet again getting caught out.
Where's the Black Shield? I guess it was on cooldown. It does still land, but it's not going to be enough damage from the side of Mirage Esports. Yo, crap! You Look So Charming with the flank is going to force Tomo to flash away. And now, ANEW Esports, they're on the charge. They're on the front. They're on the forward aggressive push right now. You Look So Charming, who has been down the entire game, is leading the charge against Mirage Esports, forcing Hyper to flash and flag drag away to safety. This should be an inhibitor falling potentially the game here, Sordo.
Yeah, I mean, this might be a bit over aggressive here, but they are going to try to push towards. Julian flashes forward.
Oh, Julian wants to be able to close out this game. He wants to go home, call it a night. 2-1 for the favor of the side of ANEW Esports, and Hyper doing everything that he can. But between him and Tomo, it's not enough defense to be able to take down the members of ANEW Esports. But QC and Heike Savage are here to try and defend. Now it's their time to try and shine and try to make something out of nothing. They're able to take down and get a shutdown on
towers, though.
Charming, but Nexus turrets have fallen now. They just need to focus the Nexus. Ladies and gentlemen, after a back and forth series, ANEW Esports will claw their way to victory and end the series 2-1.
Yeah, no, 28 and a half minutes in. That's going to be ANEW Esports winning the series, like you said. And just great job there from ANEW Esports. They were down so much, but just found a way to come back into the game. And I think it's off of the back of Sir Kenji hitting those Black Shields and bindings onto everyone at crucial points was massive for their win in that fight. Andy Bendy should have been picked off. I thought he pulled a Sven again, but ends up getting the Black Shield just in time and blows up Tomo afterwards. Great job there from everyone else. They knew that they wanted the fight, and again, for the side of Mirage Esports, they fell into the same trap that they did at the Dragon. They were just so disorientated, and they didn't fight together as a team. Speedo not able to get off his damage, Tomo not able to scale, and that just costs them the game.
Absolutely. And another thing that we have to, as much as credit we are giving to the side of ANEW Esports for being able to come back into the game once it was given to him. We have to question the flank from Speedo when he came around in that mid lane. He literally went into 4 members without the rest of his team supporting him. He tried to stun a black shielded Andy Bendy, and then he immediately died and gave a huge shutdown gold over to Julian. And Julian was someone who was just quietly farming up into that mid late game, who was just taking advantage of all these kills and getting that shutdown gold massively boosted him up. I mean, you can see in the damage charts, even though we didn't really see and sing much praise about Julian, the damage charts speak for themselves.
I mean, all he needed to do was farm it out. And, I mean, Julian just popping off. He just CC'd everyone to high hell. Anyone that would come forward, instantly CC'd by Julian, that or by Sir Kenji. And there's just nothing for the side of Mirage that they could do.
Yeah, there were so many opportunities for the side of Mirage Esports off of the back of that advantage from Speedo, and to an extent, QC from the bot lane being able to equalize a lot of the bot lane 2v2 isolated kills to be able to snowball that game to do the 1-4 split push or even the 1-3-1 split push, but it didn't come to fruition. And fortunately for Mirage Esports, they just fall ever so slightly short. But if the execution had been cleaner, this definitely could have been their series to do.
Oh yeah, 100% it could have been. They just didn't play off of Speedo enough. Speedo was sitting at 6-1, ends the game 7-4. So it kind of just shows, the progression of what happened during that game. Speedo not being able to, push his advantages with Hyper and Savage. So it just ends up being unfortunate that, you had such a large lead. You had the Riven sitting at, 1-5. And she comes back into the game, ending the game 5-6.
Absolutely. Well, we were just waiting on our production staff to see if we were going to be doing an interview, but looks like we are not doing an interview for the post-game lobby here. But before we close out on tonight's broadcast, first of all, huge thanks and shout outs to our sponsors, Kono, Midwest Esports, and Scuttle Scrims for providing today's broadcast. Also, a huge shout out to Sam the Man for being an awesome producer, my co-caster Sordo, and everyone who watched the broadcast today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Please follow Upsurge Esports on Twitter, on Twitch. If you want to follow with myself or Sordo, we have our Twitter links up on the screen as well. Other than that, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. You all have a wonderful evening.